I want you to imagine for a minute that life is black and white. So at one end, in one pole, we have us as human beings just really kind of in life. We're always thinking. We always have stuff moving through us that's kind of biased and all of that, but we're not caught up in that. That's not even really on our radar. We're just in life, and we're just kind of in a natural groove, in a flow, the way you would see a 2-year-old out playing outside. Thoughts come up, they come, they go. Maybe they act on them, maybe they don't, but they're really immersed in whatever it is they're doing, and they're just kind of moving with the flow of life. Over here, again, remember, we're pretending this is black and white, and these are our options. Over here, we have someone caught up in a whole lot of thinking. So their thinking is fast, and it's sped up, and it has emotion to it, and maybe they can feel it physically, and there's a lot of it. And life is still moving through them because it can't not. There's no other option. Life is still moving through them. But rather than them being kind of relaxed and kind of just going with the flow, they're kind of spinning the wheels, and it's like, they're the ones trying to pedal the bicycle. Like they're powering it all, so they think, with their own thinking, and they're really caught up in the content of what's going on in their heads. So when you have these two things, over here, when you're just in life, there's not a lot of variety. And what I mean by that is, if you took 100 people and they were all in this state, we could walk in a room and we could see it all on their faces. So they would all be relatively content. They would all be just kind of, resilient, have peace of mind, just be, having that feeling like they're just in the flow. They'd be in the moment. They'd be just guided. They would not have a lot of opinions. They would naturally and easily connect with others in the room. It wouldn't be like, oh, you're my friend and you're not my friend, because that's this kind of thinking over here. It would just be a nice, easy flow and connection without a ton of crazy variety. And over here, we have the exact opposite. So this is simple. It's so simple. Over here is where, if you took 100 people and they were really up in their heads, imagine the variety you would have. Some would be up in their heads feeling anxiety. Some would have a feeling of restlessness. Some would have a feeling of maybe depression. So they would all have, their own variety of stuff. And there's a million storylines of why they feel this way and what's wrong and what's going on and what should have happened and what's going to happen next week. There'd be so many different thoughts, feelings, all of this stuff going on. They'd have so many opinions, so many preferences. They don't like everyone equally. They don't see the equalness in everyone that's there. This person's this and that person's that, and you're my favorite and you're not my favorite. And all of that is so active when you're in your head like that. So there's huge variety over here, very little variety over here. Now, life isn't black and white, but there's something really to see in this when it comes to our human experience. We can kind of think of it, and I don't really think of it as black and white, but you can put this as sort of a dichotomy and just kind of feel into it and see if it resonates with you. We do this, right? I mean, in actuality, we're somewhere in between, probably all the time, but we have those moments when we're just at peace and we're not questioning anything. We're just out doing what we're doing. And then we have those moments when everything looks complicated, confusing, and just hard. It doesn't feel good. And it doesn't feel good in a different specific way for everyone on earth. And even for you, it doesn't feel good in a different specific way, moment to moment, because we're just feeling the thinking that's there, and that thinking is all over the place. So everything's changing all the time. So what spurred this conversation that we're having for me is someone just said to me, and I hear this all the time, but I just heard specifically, yeah, but I have two issues. There's the complexity that I see in everything, and then there's the urgency that I feel about things. It's not two issues. It's one thing. It's over here. You have a busy mind. People will say, okay, so what are we going to work on first? I have my insecurity. My relationship looks really complicated. I don't know what to do there. And, I don't feel confident asking my boss for a raise. And I drink every night when I get home from work. No, that's not 4 issues. It might show up in 4 ways, and it shows up in a lot more than 4 ways, but it's over here. It's this one. It's just that there's a lot going on. And when our mind gets busy, it spits out all kinds of specific problems and feelings and things. But the good news is we don't have to deal with each and every one of those. We don't even have to really look at each and every one of those. You can hold it as more of a black or white. It's as simple as when we're in the moment and we're just in life, relatively speaking, we're fine. When we start to feel not so fine, when things look complicated, urgent, we don't feel well, we're falling into habits, we're arguing with people, we're very opinionated, our life is getting very small because of our opinions and preferences, we're still fine. But you have a lot on your mind. All that's going on is your thinking is just really kind of revved up. There's just a lot here. And there's a lot here for people all the time, but there's a lot here and we're caught up in it. We're taking it as true. We're not seeing it as like, oh, okay, I have a busy mind. That's what I want you to get from this, because that's what can start to happen. You're like, all right, life's fine, nothing to question. Ooh, what's going on? Oh my gosh, all these problems. No, it's not all these problems. Oh yeah, it's just that I'm not seeing clearly because my mind's busy. When it settles back down, suddenly I'm over here again. Because remember, it's kind of black or white-ish. So when this settles down, you're moving over to this side. From here, it doesn't mean all the circumstances in your life get solved, but you see them differently. You see them with more clarity, and you just do what you need to do. So I just wanted to bring this up. When it looks very complex and like we need to deal with all of this stuff, you don't. It's just that when you have a busy mind, it doesn't just yell, busy, 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 busy. It yells, you're not good enough, and your husband's going to leave you, and you are a loser at work, and you really need a drink. Like, it tells you specific things. And we don't quite see that we don't have to pay attention to those specific things. We want to make life black or white again. Just look toward the black and whiteness of it rather than getting lost in all the detail and the nuances, because that part is going to come and go. It's always changing. It's not the truth. It's just what comes out of a very biased, busy mind. And that's what gets us more stuck, as we try to solve for all of these specific things, and it's a mess, a huge mess, and you're never going to do it. So just let that come down. You'll move over to this side, and things really will look different. And I know that sounds really simple, but that's how simple it is.